magical beings, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and I am the Woodland Witch. So I realized something recently. In all of my years of content creating, I have never shared my Sabbath celebrations. I've shared DIYs and tutorials of things that you can incorporate into your celebrations, but I've never really talked about what I do around certain Sabbats and different holidays. So I thought it would be fun today to share with you how I celebrate Samhain. This is my favorite time of year. It is the time I feel my spirit really becoming the most alert and alive. There's just something about the energy at this time of year. I've always been a spooky season kind of a girl, but even in my craft, this time of year is something that's really important to me. Samhain is the third and final harvest celebration. It is the witch's new year, and with it being the witch's new year, I find that this time of year is so much about preparation for me. I feel myself just getting ready to hunker down and approach this darker half of the year. Samhain is also a major time of year where we connect with our spirits and our ancestors. I'm sure you've already heard someone say that the veil is thinning. This is definitely a time of year where we really feel connected to spirits and connected to our ancestry. I definitely feel energetic shifts and can pick up on different things a lot easier around this time of year. This is definitely a time of year where we all start to slow down. Because Samhain is considered the third and final harvest celebration, this is a time I really not only like to prepare, but also to show gratitude and be thankful for all of the bounty and the things that I have received throughout the year. This year in particular for me has been one of my busiest years yet. I was fortunate enough to have so many different experiences and opportunities, things I never dreamed in my life that I would achieve. So as I'm sitting here and preparing for the witch's new year and preparing for this darker half of the year, I am really just feeling so rooted in gratitude. And I'll be honest, my family has hit some road bumps this year. Just things not working out according to plan, things being a little more difficult than we anticipate or want them to be. But when I sit here and I reflect back on this entire year, my heart is so full and I'm so proud of myself and my family and how much we've achieved and been able to overcome in this year, how much has been provided for us. So it's definitely a time of year for me where I am showing a lot of gratitude and giving a lot of thanks for all of the things in my life and all of the things that I've received. Another thing that is very important to me around this time of year is honoring my ancestors. I work with my ancestors and honor them throughout the entire year. But around this time of year, I do really make them the center. I usually have a small shrine or altar space set for them, but at this time of year, I really like to bring it into the center of my home. I like to give them a space that is constantly in view to let them know that they are remembered and that I'm constantly thinking of them. For my ancestor altar, I will usually add candles and things that would have been important to them. On my ancestor altar this year, I have pictures of my great-grandparents on either side. I recently did an ancestry DNA test, and while that test was so all over the place and has changed quite a bit since I got my first set of results, it allowed me to piece some things together in my lineage and fill in my family tree just a little bit more. And honestly, as I've been working with my ancestors and learning more about them and filling in this tree, I started to have a lot of memories and things come up. Like vivid memories of these ancestors and the time I had with them when I was young. And it was awesome to have this recollection of memories and events. It made me feel so much closer to them. And it gave me a little insight on how to honor them as well. When working with your ancestors, obviously you're not working with every single one or worshiping and honoring every single one that you've ever had. But for me, I always feel bad leaving someone out. So there's a few things that I like to include also that will honor all of them. So I do have a jar that is full of spices from every region that is attached to my DNA and my lineage, just to give a little offering to everyone. I will also add crystals such as blue goldstone and lapis lazuli. These allow for good communication and spiritual connection. I will add things that are plentiful this time of year like pumpkins and just really create a centerpiece in my home that is designated for them to honor them and to show gratitude and thanks to them. A place where I can commune with them and connect with them. This year I also crafted a venerate simmer pot for my shop as an offering to them. It's really funny because when I'm crafting simmer pots, I just hear ingredients in my head. So I put this venerate pot together and I was like, yes, we're doing all of this. These are all things that are going to help venerate and connect you with your spirits and your ancestry. I was testing it out for the first time. and I smelled pipe tobacco and licorice. And in that moment when I smelled it for the first time, I just felt my great-grandparents so much. I have vivid memories of going to their house as a child, and my great-grandfather always smoked a pipe, and there was always a gumball machine full of Good and Plenties. And if you've ever had a Good and Plenty, you know that it is a licorice candy. So it was a really cool moment to have crafted this pot that was so connected to my personal memories of my ancestors, people I grew up with and I spent so much time with in my life. And to be able to give this to them and to honor them now in a way that is so personal to our relationship was just really awesome. Another thing that's really important to me around this time of year is utilizing what is available. Because it is a harvest season, there is so much that comes available at this time of year. I will try to utilize all of these ingredients in my spells and my rituals, apples and pumpkins and anything spiced. These are all really big staples around this time of year, and I really like to utilize them magically in my practice. And all of these ingredients have their own correspondences and things that they're bringing to the table around this time of year. And while we do have access to most of these things throughout the year, I really like to utilize them at this time. Cut an apple in half horizontally, it reveals a pentagram. That's the 5-pointed star. It symbolizes protection. Apples are known for bringing forth love. Oranges are uplifting and bring forth positive energy. Clove and cinnamon are protective, and hawthorn. I moved to New England this year, so I'm getting to work with some new plant allies, and hawthorn is one of them. Hawthorn is really good for cardiovascular health and healing matters of the heart. In my 7 years of living in North Carolina, I never once saw hawthorn, so when I found this hawthorn tree on my mile loop that I've talked about with you guys a million times, I was so excited. Hawthorn has these beautiful bright red berries. It is known as the witch's tree. It is for protection. It is also known as a tree of the fae. It was thought to be bad luck to bring a hawthorn blossom or branch inside of the home at any point of the year aside from Beltane. Hawthorn would be used to create maypoles. It was also thought if you fell asleep under the hawthorn, you would be whisked away into the fae realm forever. It's been really fun to get to know this new plant ally. I made a tincture recently with my hawthorn, and I'm really excited to craft some charms with it and utilize it in my spell work. And as I'm using all of these things that are plentiful throughout the year, I also like to incorporate using them in my kitchen witchery. This is a time of year where we are having a lot of get-togethers and spending a lot of time with family. So kitchen witchery for me is big at this time of year. I would say the entire month of October, I am cooking non-stop and baking all the time. It's a way that I also honor my ancestors and my lineage. The week of Samhain, I will prep and cook meals that they would have eaten. Baked goods that I remember from being a child and things that my family would have made. And I give these as offerings as well. On the day of Samhain, I will also participate in a dumb supper or a silent supper. And because this year I am participating in a silent supper, that is why I chose to place my ancestor altar on my kitchen table. I'm going to be preparing a very nice meal. I will set a place for them. I will sit and commune with them and leave space for their voices to be heard and their energy to be felt. But a silent supper is something I'm really excited to do this year, and to have that time to honor my ancestors and spend a little time communing with them, eating foods and things that they would have enjoyed and that they loved as well. Alright everyone, I hope you have a blessed Samhain celebration. I hope that you are feeling connected and warm and grateful. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next one.